Hello, pre-algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here with your first flip lesson in a long, long time. I was so encouraged that some of you wanted those videos back. I think it's awesome that you want to learn, so I'm willing to do them. All right, today we're going to be able, after this video, to be able to say I can solve for y when there are two variables in an equation. Now, this black equation here looks like something you know what to do with, right? You're going to use your inverse operations. You're going to listen to Saddam. Remember Saddam, our good old friend. Okay, and we're going to add 6 to each side, right? Okay, and then we're going to have 2x on the left-hand side, and we'll have 16. Then, of course, we'll divide by 2. Pardon me, Mr. Lawrence is fighting his allergies, right? Sorry about that. I had a sneeze in there. Didn't want to blow your eardrums out. And so when I do that, I'm going to get the equation x equals 6. And you guys are getting pretty good at this. Mrs. Sopko and I are very impressed with how you're doing. Now we're going to review something we did before because it is so important in algebra. And remember, my job, now that the OAA is over, is to make sure you're 100% ready for Algebra 1. And I want your teachers to be able to know you had me for a pre-algebra teacher and that you're ready to go. So let's tackle on this puppy. Now, this is very much the same type of problem as we just did, except we're going to solve for y. Should have put that in the directions. We're going to solve for y on every problem that we do down here. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to circle y because there are two variables, and sometimes I get confused as to which one I'm solving for. If I circle the one I need to solve for, then I don't have to worry about it. Now, that's the one that I need to get alone. So I just go through my questions like I would with any other problem, and I say, what number is keeping y from being alone? Well, in this case, it's 2x. And how is the 2x attached? Well, it's a positive 2x, so it's attached by addition. So to get rid of it, I'm going to use the inverse operation. I'm going to subtract 2x. Now, this is going to bug some of you over here on the right-hand side, but just bear with me for a minute. The left-hand side just becomes y. Now, are these like terms? Are they like terms? Remember, we spent a lot of time recently on like terms. Are they like terms? No, they're not like terms. So I don't put them together. I'm just going to write down 2x, negative 2x plus 8. And there we go. Is y alone? You bet your boots it is. All right, let's try another one. Problem number 2. I'm going to circle the variable. Remember, I'm solving for y on each one. All right, solving for y. So I'm going to ask myself, what numbers are keeping the y from being alone? Well, there's a 5, and he's attached by multiplication, right? And then there's this 10x by subtraction. And according to Saddam, I need to get rid of subtraction and addition before I get rid of division and multiplication. So I'm going to get rid of this 10x. How am I going to get rid of it? Well, it's a negative 10x. Inverse operation would be to add 10x. I'm going to add 10x over here. All right. And then we're going to have 5y because those canceled, right? And we'll have unlike terms, so I'll just write down 10x plus 15. Now, I'll bet Alexis is wondering, could she have written 15 plus 10x? And yes, you could, and it would not be wrong. You wouldn't lose any points. I'm going to suggest you always write your x variable first because we're going to move back into graphing here soon. And if you remember back when we did that, that was a little bit easier when x was first. But if you don't remember, that's okay. I'm just suggesting you write the x term first. All right. I'm still solving for y because y is not alone, right? What's attached to the y? A 5 by multiplication. So I'm going to undo it by dividing by 5. But I got to be careful there. I have to divide here and here. I have to divide every term by 5. You might be wondering why I didn't divide the last problem. Well, there was no number that I divided by, right? I only did a one-step equation. All right, so the left-hand side, the 5's will cancel, leaving y. 10 over 5 is the same as 2. There's an x there. 15 over 5 is 3. And y is alone. There we go. Lost my little cursor. Okay, 2 more quick examples for you. All right. Going to solve for y, circling the y, asking myself, I've got a 4 and a 3x. Which one should I get rid of first? Well, the 3x is attached by addition, the 4 by multiplication. I'm going to get rid of the 3x first. It's a positive. I will use the inverse operation. Hold on, I want to be in green here. Minus 3x from both sides. And when I do that, those are going to cancel. 4y. And unlike terms, negative 3x plus a 16, like writing the x term first. Now, is y alone? It is not. I guess I can circle that y. And to get that y alone, I'm going to divide by 4 in all 3 places. And when I do that, I'm going to get y. I know this is going to be 4. Now, some of you are going to get bent out of shape with this. I'm just going to say you see a fraction there. Just make sure that fraction is simplified, negative 3/4 x. And that'll be a lot easier. Don't divide and get a decimal. It'll be more difficult later on. All right, one more example. I need to circle my y. Okay. I've got a 6x attached to it. And remember, the 6x is positive, so it's attached by addition. And I've got a 4 attached by multiplication, right? So Saddam tells me to get rid of the 6x first. I'll use the inverse operation. And those will cancel. I'll be left with a negative 4y equal to negative 6x plus 20. Getting the y alone now, right? There's a negative 4 attached by multiplication, so I'll divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. All right. The left-hand side is simple. The right-hand side, I know I'm going to get a negative 5 at the end. I know there's going to be an x here. Now, what's this going to be? I'm going to get 6/4. But remember I said on the last problem, make sure it's simplified as far as it can go. And if I divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, I'm going to get 3/2x minus 5. And I would leave it just like that. All right, we're going to get some practice with that tomorrow in class and probably the next day. Make sure you're good. And then we're going to get back into graphing. And I'm going to show you why we do some of this graphing. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.